Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are from Coe College, the music department, presenting the Jazz Summit this weekend. Vocal director Luke Lovegood. Luke, welcome.
Hello there. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, really great to see you. Great to have you here. And a familiar face and voice to KCCK, it's Dr. Steve Shanley. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yep. So the Jazz Summit, how many years, Steve, for the Jazz Summit?
Well, the Jazz Festival at Coe has been happening for many, many decades, but when Bill Carson arrived around 1990, he repurposed it as the Jazz Summit. So I think we're over 30 years now in its current form of having bands come in and play for about an hour, getting a clinic, and then culminating with the performance on Saturday night.
You bill this as the state's largest jazz festival because you're at 90-plus groups, right?
Yes, 90-plus groups, and a lot of those groups are quite large with since we have a pretty big middle school component. So, yeah, anywhere from 1,500, 2,000 students from the, I don't know if we have any out of state this year. We do. We have South Dakota for the first time represented, so very excited about that. But yeah, we'll usually every year get some from Minnesota or Wisconsin, but usually pretty strong representation from all 4 Iowa high school classes and then local middle schools.
Luke, you are fairly new to the vocal department at Coe and also new to the Jazz Summit as a vocal jazz component. Before we get there, tell me a little bit about your career. I know you are a Coe grad, yes?
Yes, so I'm coming home in a way. I graduated from Coe in 2007. Originally from Eastern Iowa, graduated from Mid-Prairie, just an hour south of here. And then I spent 15 years in Western Iowa teaching at the high school and community college levels in Atlantic and then Council Bluffs at Iowa Western Community College. And then during the interview process last year, I was talking about how we did a jazz choir contest at Iowa Western. And I think all the Coe music department kind of went, oh, well, that's a thing that we could do here. So that is how the Vocal Jazz Summit came to be.
And of course, the new guy, not in a position to say no to a bunch of extra work. Steve and everybody is going fresh meat.
Yes, exactly.
So how does the vocal portion work just like the instrumental portion?
So we're kicking off the week. We'll take on Wednesday all day. We weren't sure how many groups we were going to get, so we were kind of building our schedule as we went, and more groups decided to sign up, which was exciting. And it broke down to having enough groups from 8 to 5 that everyone gets a half hour on stage. We'll do a full clinic on stage as well with our 4 clinicians, including myself and our other voice faculty. And then we'll actually do a simultaneous solo contest. So any of the schools participating, if they have students preparing for solo musical theater or solo and ensemble contest, or they just like to sing by themselves, they can sign up for that solo contest as well and get some great feedback from some of our vocal coaches on campus.
You mentioned that the clinicians will be from the music faculty, but you also have some special guests.
Yes, for the first year, we decided we weren't sure what the turnout was going to be for the vocal side of things, so we decided to keep the judging and clinician panel flexible and local, and understanding that maybe if we didn't have quite enough, we would maybe not utilize their services or utilize them for the whole day. On the band side of things, we knew we can predict that we'll have a really good turnout, so we're able to be a little bit more flexible in terms of inviting clinicians and guest artists from further away. So I'm excited this year that we have Ray Blue, who's familiar to many of our listeners around here. And when Bill Carson went on sabbatical about 20 years ago and asked me to fill in for the jazz band, while he was gone, Ray was the guest artist for the Jazz Summit that year. So Ray was my first Jazz Summit guest artist as a director. So it's kind of fun for me to have him back. And then we've also got Tobi Crawford, which when Luke mentioned wanting to get the vocal side of things off the ground, I thought this would be a really appropriate year to feature a guest singer with the jazz band on Saturday night. Tobi's a wonderful vocalist and piano player from the Southwest Iowa Community College, and it's School for the Vocational Arts or Music Vocations. I never quite get that one right.
They have a unique program
do.
at the Creston, the community college there in Creston, specifically about vocal music, as a career.
Yeah, vocal jazz, especially long-standing. Phil Madsen, who wrote for the Manhattan Transfer, was there and kind of put that little town on the map, and they still have a wonderful program there with Tobi and Jeremy Fox. So excited to have Tobi over here and sharing her singing and piano talents with the group as well. And I'm optimistic that now that we know, there's a need around here, people are going to show up for the voice component of this on Wednesday. I'm excited that we'll maybe be able to get some people from further away to come in and help out with that next year as well. So.
From a clinician standpoint, you really have the full range with 93 bands. You've got a little bit of everything from middle school to small schools to big schools. As a clinician, how challenging is that to kind of adjust your analysis and expectations for such a wide variety?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I feel like the challenge is not so much for the clinician as it is for me, the person hiring the clinicians. The clinicians, they're going to be what they're going to be. And I actually spent the first few years as I was organizing this trying to help coach clinicians on, in the middle school center, maybe try and do more of this or more of that. And what I have eventually kind of discovered is everybody has their toolbox and they like to use their tools a certain way. And now I have a pretty good idea of how everybody likes to do things. So I hire people who I know not only will be a good fit for the event, but then also the center that they will be in and the types of students they will be working with. And yeah, ideally they are flexible and able to do a lot of different things, but I'm usually trying to find someone, for example, in that middle school center who has a lot of experience working with developing musicians and has taught jazz to students who maybe only know 5 or 6 notes on their instrument or have only been playing the bass guitar or drums for a few months, instead of someone who is maybe a little bit more seasoned but doesn't have that experience under their belt.
Luke, setting aside what's going on this week with the Jazz Summit, tell me about your first year at Coe. I know you've brought some new programs to the music department.
It's been a whirlwind. I think I'm finally to the place where I don't have to question every single question that is thrown my way. I can actually say, I think it's this, rather than, hey, let's go ask someone who's been here longer than 5 minutes. But we've done a lot of really cool things. We actually just did a collaboration concert with the orchestra this past weekend, which was a wonderful opportunity for the students to get that experience to sing with a live orchestra. We are doing the Vocal Jazz Summit, of course. We've done some run-out tours where we've performed in different school districts across eastern Iowa, and then we're really excited to bring together an ensemble next year that's more centered around vocal jazz, show choir, contemporary a cappella, and make that a secondary ensemble that students can participate in. We're hoping not only that the current students that are singing on campus will enjoy that experience and be able to have a more wide variety of music genres under their belt, but we're hoping that there are students that are coming to Coe in the future, or current students that will see that and go, hey, I want to do that. I did that in high school. So
well, it doesn't take, you'd have to live under a rock to not know about how big show choir and vocal jazz is at the high school level. And one of the things that, Steve and I talk about a lot is providing opportunities to, make sure that students can continue participating in the arts in whatever form in college. So it makes perfect sense to make these offerings available.
Not only that, but if we as the music ed team at Coe have all of these students coming in with wide varieties of experiences and they haven't had those themselves, we're doing them a disservice when they move on to be a teacher themselves in whatever school district they find themselves in. So for them to be able to say, I've done some vocal jazz, I've done some choreography while trying to sing, we know that's easier said than done. Being able to have that experience is going to set them up when they start teaching.
Steve, the big kind of public aspect of the Jazz Summit is your big concert on Saturday night.
It is. And I would like to point out our festival, the whole festival is free to the public, and you're able to come and watch any of the bands or choirs perform in person, and it will also be live streamed. So if you are watching from far away and you're a fan of any students in any of the groups, you'll be able to see that as well. So that, obviously, we want people to come to our concert, and people do come to the concert. But also these high school and middle school students have put in a lot of work, and it's cool for them not only to get to go play in the big, nice auditorium at Coe, but also to have an audience as well. So a lot of jazz festivals charge admission, and they use it as a fundraiser, and we basically look at it more as providing a service, and as long as we can break even, we're happy. So no charge for that, and no charge for our concert on Saturday night either, which will begin at 7 o'clock. And
who's involved in the concert?
The concert will just be the jazz band, and then hoping next year when we have the group that Luke was talking about up and going, that we'll be able to incorporate them as well.
So it'll be the Coe Jazz Band.
Yep, the Coe Jazz Band, yes.
With your special guests.
With Ray Blue and Tobi Crawford. So. And as you and I have talked about many times, as we're trying to find that mix of educating the audience, but also entertaining the audience, and just finding that right mix. It's going to start at 7. It's going to be done by 8. No intermission. Be very audience friendly. You're going to love it. I know sometimes jazz concerts, jazz performances get a little bit of a bad reputation in terms of maybe being a little long or ethereal or cerebral, heady, and it will not be like that. This is one of those concerts where if you say, I don't like jazz, I dare you to come to the concert. and say, I still didn't like that.
Well, as someone who produced a 5-hour concert over the weekend, a one hour event sounds really good.
Yes, for sure.
It's the Coe Jazz Summit this weekend, and you mentioned everything is live streamed. So if you are not able to attend in person, or you want to watch the meat and guts happen during the week, watch all the different ensembles, you can do that anytime. Yes,
indeed. Yes.
How do people find that on the Coe website?
That's a really good question. I think if you just type Coe College Music YouTube into your search engine, you'll get it. It's YouTube channels.
Okay.
And there'll be a hit for that where because I just did this yesterday to try and find I wanted to look for something from Luke's concert from Saturday night, and so I typed that in, and that was the first hit, and I already saw the Coe College live stream for the Jazz Summit for all the different centers.
And I'm not sure what the URL is, but there's a Jazz Summit page with information and links to all the different.
And I'm pretty sure we are not the only jazz summit in the United States, but I think we're the one that is the most popular. So if you just type Jazz Summit, we'll be probably one of the first hits. But Coe College Jazz Summit guarantees top hit.
And for those watching the video, it is very possible that in post-production I've figured out that URL and it is appearing underneath our faces at this very moment.
I got faith in your skills, Dennis. Yeah.
On Wednesday at 5, the Coe choirs will perform as an exhibition at the end of our day.
So okay. Yeah.
All of our performances throughout the day would be free as well, but we're specifically going to be performing as a culmination on Wednesday.
Okay, so your finale concert was kind of Wednesday
Yes.
afternoon. Okay, so Wednesday at 5?
Wednesday at 5 in Sinclair.
All right. It's the Coe Jazz Summit pretty much all week long at Coe College, and your chance to attend in person or watch the live stream. Well, it's a lot of bodies moving in and out of those buildings. Good luck.
A lot of music making.
Bring it on. We're looking forward to it.
Thanks very much for being with me.
Thank you, Dennis.
Take care.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:20, or download the podcast. Watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or using your favorite podcast player. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.